Have you heard that now you can get your podcast featured on Spotify? A few days ago, Spotify announced that its editorial submission form is now available for creators in the US. What does this mean for podcast creators like you and me? Well, Spotify says that part of its mission to democratize audio means giving every creator a chance to be seen and heard too. Being featured on a podcast player like Spotify is prime real estate. It means that your podcast is showcased on Spotify's main podcast page, new releases section, and other curated lists over millions of other podcasts on the platform. This is a great marketing opportunity for your show, for you, and for your business, because Spotify users browsing for new shows will see your podcast first thing, increasing your chances of getting a fresh batch of listeners. Submitting your podcast or video podcast to get featured is a simple process, and in this video we'll show you the exact steps as we actually submit our podcast content jefe. Hello, amigo. Welcome to the Pod Sound School. I'm Veronica, marketing and content strategist, always looking for ways to get more eyes and ears on your content. Here at the Pod Sound School, we love to try new things and put ourselves through the test every time a new service, gadget, feature, or strategy is released. This is why a few weeks ago, we recorded our trailer for our new video podcast, Content Jefe.
Content Jefe is brought to you by Pod Sound School.
Video podcasting is a feature Spotify released last year. After recording your video podcast, you upload it to Anchor. Anchor then distributes your video podcast to Spotify, and voila, you fancy, because now you have a video podcast. We demonstrated the whole process in this video where we used Riverside FM to record our video podcast remotely. This time, we're going to submit our video podcast Content Jefe to the Spotify editorial team to be featured. I'm super excited and freaking out a little. Unfortunately, we won't be able to know right away, but we'll keep you posted, and hopefully after watching this video, you go straight to submitting your podcast, because your podcast cool, you're cool, and everybody needs to know about it. The process is super simple. We'll get to it in a minute, but before, let's talk about the submission guidelines. First, your content must follow the Spotify platform rules of not posting content that is dangerous, deceptive, or illegal. There's a link to the rules in the description of this video, and I encourage you to go check it out. But basically, don't be a jerk and don't post caca content. Second, and the obvious, you must have your podcast on Spotify, and in the form that we're going to see in a minute, you're required to provide the Spotify link to your show. Is your podcast on Spotify? Let me know in the comments below. Third, you'll need a show description. This is your podcast tagline and elevator pitch, telling people what your show is about. Fourth, if your podcast is not selected 1 month, you're welcome to apply the next month as long as you have posted at least 2 episodes since the last feature request. How are we doing? Do you like the video so far? If you do, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Spotify says that once you have submitted your podcast, the editorial placement is at the whole discretion of the editorial team. But what makes the editorial team choose a podcast over another? What is their criteria? I researched this further, and I found an article from Spotify that talks about the specific qualities the editorial team seeks in the podcast they choose to feature. Basically, they're looking for creators and storytellers who have the ability to inspire their audience into action. So storytelling is a big component. They're looking for content that is authentic and inclusive. The personality and chemistry of the host is also a factor, and also lots of creativity and experimentation with different formats. Audio quality is also a factor they take into consideration, and it says in the article that it doesn't have to be a full professional studio, but the production value should not detract from the listening. In summary, they're looking for content that is original, well-produced, and with lots of personality and production quality. And if that sounds familiar, it's because that's what we teach here in our channel and to our students. Okay, now let's get to the submission process.
Hey, Studio Steve here. Veronica put me in charge of submitting the form and showing you how to do it. She's a tough boss, so let's get right to it. So right here, we're gonna be sharing this link for you right where you're watching this video. This is the news announcement that Spotify released, and it has some cool information about how to get your podcast featured on Spotify. You'll see some other links and some submission guidelines and things that you should really read through on this article. And then you'll see the Submit Now link right here at the bottom. That will bring you to the Airtable or the form that you'll actually fill out to have your podcast considered to be featured. And here you'll just need to fill out all of this information. So for the name of podcast, I'll just put in Content Jefe. For the submitter name, I'm going to say Pod Sound School, but here you would put in your email address. Is this your podcast? Yes, I work on this podcast. The release date, you're going to want to put the release date of your podcast. If you've forgotten what the release date is, you can figure that out by going to your podcast hosting site. We just barely released Content Jefe on Anchor, so we can come here to see that. I can come to episodes and look at our trailer episode, and it was published on May 3rd. So back here, I would say May 3rd. And that's our release date, the type of podcast it is. This is really cool because this shows you that a new podcast is something that Spotify is going to take into consideration, or a podcast that's announcing a fun new season. So I'm going to say new podcast, and then podcast log line. Give us a 2 to 4 sentence description of your podcast. And this is something you really want to spend some time on. This is your elevator pitch. This is how you're going to hook them in, and not just the editorial team on Spotify. You want to have a good tagline, a good hook line, just prepared anytime you're talking about your podcast anyway. So you should already have this. Teaching online business owners to make better content and more money. That's sort of our tagline. And then genres, you can select an option here. I'm going to say business and tech. And then down here, network or indie, we're going to say indie. Spotify show URL. This you would get actually from your podcaster's portal on Spotify, or if you host your podcast on Anchor, from your Anchor website, you can come to where it says settings. And from settings, there's this podcast availability. You can click on that. And right here, you'll have your Spotify show address right there. So that's easy enough. I can copy and paste that there. Favorite episode URL. So we're actually going to come here to Spotify, where you see your podcast on Spotify, and pick your best episode if they can only listen to one. I'm going to choose the trailer here. We're going to say link copied to clipboard by clicking on this icon right here. Now I can come back here and I'll pop that in there. Social handle links. This is really important. How did you hear about this form? And it says this does not affect your submission in any way. So right here, go ahead and type in Pod Sound School YouTube video. That would be great. And then would you like to share anything else about your podcast? And here it says examples: hosted by Anchor, timely topic, notable guests featured, etc. Okay, now I have all of the information put in, and I'm going to go ahead and press submit. Now it says make sure to check our editorial services to see if your podcast is featured, and don't forget to share and tag us. So this is really important. If they feature you, tag at Spotify, and also tag us at Pod Sound School. And also while you're at it, just come follow us on Instagram or Twitter. We also have a TikTok at Pod Sound School. This is really exciting stuff. We've got our fingers crossed for you. Your podcast deserves to be featured.
Okay, amigo, if you get featured, make sure you tag Spotify at Spotify Podcast and me at Pod Sound School. I know you want to stay here and hang out with me, but you have a tarea to do. So go keep creating. Don't forget to submit your podcast to Spotify to get featured, and peace.